Thank you for joining me this hour. Pedophiles are being exposed, HIV is being cured, and the future is bright. Today, I know how you can extend your life expectancy, and it's not by giving your energy today to people that would fucking rather see you abused and broken. Not today, Satan. But did you know that the ancients believed that Satan ruled Saturn? And that's why we have all these zodiac signs, because all these planets and constellations represented some part of the survival of humanity, like when to plant the fucking crops and shit. But Saturn represents Capricorn in the zodiac. I'm just saying, we are discussing life today because duality... We're going to have to revisit, duality on another day. But do you want to know some insight that I have into how you can improve your life today by engaging in research as a volunteer? And if you're scared to be a volunteer, you can be an advocate or a researcher yourself, because there's a dark legacy of abuse in our country in terms of research. I know, especially if you're a Black person, all you have to say is Tuskegee, or Henrietta Lacks if you're a woman. Fast forward, though, my dumbass works in research as a day job, and I actually absolutely love it. I've learned so much over I've been working in like 6 years. I've learned so much, and we've learned major lessons from that legacy of research. It's not perfect, but the realm of public health is not perfect. Health is not perfect. Bodies are not perfect. And people trying to figure out what to do is not perfect. But we've made major strides. We've fixed a lot of stuff. It's not perfect. But I want to share with you some interesting prospects, because I have some insight. I work a lot. And I miss out on the interactions with society, because I feel like I have a whole lot of information in my head that nobody else has. And then I'm trying to I'm trying to provide informed consent for my patients. And I can't, because they're so resistant, because they don't have a frame of reference in their daily life to advocate for public health research. So we've learned major lessons, and the prospect of life just got extended for a lot of people on this planet. Not just got extended, but over the last few decades, we've made so many strides in science that today I want to share with you something that I have dedicated my life to since 2013. It doesn't matter who you are or where you're from, or, you can benefit from advancements in science, even if you don't believe in it. Because whether you like it or not, it's how we live our lives. It's how the world was built. The world was built on science. And so what have you heard about cancer? What have you heard about HIV? What have you heard about mental illness? Are these... these are not the only diseases plaguing our country today. I'm here to share with you some advancements in those categories, specifically those categories that are now being transferred to other medical fields at lightning speed. So here's the bottom line. Okay, you ready? You ready, honey? All right. You benefit from the advancements of public health research. That's it. Vaccines, medications, environmental issues, how they treat the water, how they treat the food, all requires decades. And when I say decades, I mean 20, 30 years of careful study before we even get to the point where we can prescribe a medication or something. And there are all these ailments and all these aspects of life that are being researched too. To give you a little bit of insight into who I am, I work at a university. And I've learned that every single department, and even though I work in the best one, or I've worked in two of the best ones, every single department has a research arm. It doesn't matter where you are: emergency medicine, internal medicine, women's health. I don't even know, children. They study children. Everything is being researched. And I keep hearing this mantra on Twitter We are not free till we're all free. We are not free until we're all free. And I truly believe it. Like, that speaks to my soul so much because it applies to mass incarceration. So you have that application for that notion. And then when I start thinking about incarceration, like being locked up and being like trapped and I think about the health of our country. And wouldn't an entire sick ass country also be considered a form of incarceration or mass incarceration when it was intentionally made to be like that? Because I do believe, certain aspects of health are intentional and created intentionally, especially, or created intentionally, or a solution intentionally was not developed. So it's like, either way, it's like you're still evil. Like, I don't give a fuck. So let's look at what this means, though, because I think cancer research is extremely invigorating because we can... Well, okay, let me describe what is... Do you know what cancer is before I even get into it? Because I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. I sit at my desk all day. I know all this shit. I know all these terms, but I'm like, I'm just assume that other people know them too. And I don't want to dumb it down for you, but I do want to give you a little bit of insight because I always assumed that cancer was just one disease. Like, oh, you have cancer. Okay, what do you do next? No, like cancer is not just one disease. It is a whole lot of other diseases, like 100 of them, caused by an entire host of like different sources. So our food, our medication, proximity to pollution, proximity to contaminants in our water and food. There are all kinds of sources that people think cause cancer, but the main thing that we know about cancer is it is a genetic disorder in our body's ability to recreate healthy cells. And a genetic disorder, so basically your genes are just like the little building blocks of your body. It's the blueprint of your life. And the website cancer.gov describes cancer as a genetic disease that is caused by changes to genes that control the way the cells function. And this is especially detrimental in that process of how your cells grow and divide. So like when the sperm meets the egg and then become one and then it divides, like that's what it means. Like when that process is fucked up, like that's why women have like a miscarriage, because that process of growing and dividing got fucked up for whatever reason. And now we're here. So, minimize my screen here. Oh, shoot. Okay, so, sorry, the fancy-ass computer I don't even know how to use. But there are all kinds of cancer, and what you need to know, basically, is that when your body can't make healthy cells, it keeps making cells, because that's what it's designed to do. You're a machine, and you're a factory for life. That's your body. Like, that's your spirit. Like, God put you in a factory so that you can create life. But sometimes those cells are not normal cells. And when you have too many of those abnormal cells, you can die. So that's why treatments have been used. And there's a lot of controversy over cancer treatment because some people are like, well, if you just were vegan, it will be all right. And it's like, that's not how any of this works. And that's fine. Whatever brings you to health is your business, because everyone's body is different, but like everyone's body is different. So you can't just blanket say things like just drink alkaline water and blah, blah, blah. No. Sometimes those healthy cells sometimes it's your genes. It's your genetic code that prohibits you from making healthy cells, not the food you eat. Or you've done so much damage that now you have to have biomedical intervention. Duh. That's why chemotherapy is suggested. There's not much doctors can do once you're fucked up to edit your genes. Thank you, George Bush, because it's illegal. So they have to poison you instead. It's scorched earth. And sometimes it works, and a lot of times it doesn't. But I would do it. I literally pay out of my ass for health insurance, just in case. Because they aren't going to John Q the fuck out of me. And when I get cancer and I can't pay because I have $1 million bill, they're going to be like, well, okay, well, no. Like, no. This shit is serious. So, moving on. What does cancer treatment look like today? Well, outside of the novel interventions, like, there are some like really exciting stuff coming down where they're just studying genes and gene variants and all kind of stuff. I think those are good, but the main ones still exist and they still are effective in some people's bodies. Radiation and chemo. For some people, it works because everyone's body is different. We don't quite know everything. But they're adding new treatments like immunotherapy. I've seen commercials on TV about it. What the hell is immunotherapy? Well, let me explain it to you. The root of the word immuno, that should give you some context. Therapy, immunotherapy. I keep hitting my mic, sorry. Cancer.gov states, immunotherapies are treatments that stimulate the activities of specific components of the immune system. Or it can be used to counteract signals produced by cancer cells that suppress immune response. Are you bored? Well, I'm not. And when your immune system is suppressed, or when your immune response is suppressed, you can't fight common diseases like the cold or the flu. How can you be bored? Because if you can't fight common diseases, you die. So you have to be aware of your surroundings and aware of the medical treatments that could extend your life in the event that you need them. So these new medical treatments take your cells out of your body, your immune cells out of your body, do some cool shit to them, and put them back in your body, and then let the spirit guide you. Because like after that, we just let Jesus take the wheel, and we're like, okay, hopefully it works. And so far it's working. And a lot of people are living by fighting cancer with their own cells that have been modified to resist the signals of the unhealthy cells, so they just stop growing or whatever it is. So I don't know much about it because I work in infectious diseases. So I do, more sexual health and stuff like that. But we still have a lot to understand. And it's fucking glorious. Science is amazing. Amazing. Who came up with this? Like, can we get this man a cookie? Like, or a woman or child, whoever you are, like, you deserve a cookie because you were the spark, because not only did someone come up with the idea, like we all have to be a part of it because we fund it, we volunteer for it. A large clinical study operation can't be solitary. And of course someone comes up with the original idea, but it's whittled down and edited by like 30 million people, like literally. And then it's still not right. So it's still developed even while the study is going. It's still being modified. Like, you know how many fucking protocol changes I have in a year? Like, it's crazy. Like, to the point where the government is like, they have to fix their shit because it's like, y'all updating too much shit. We can't keep up and comply with the law if we always have to like reprint everything. And because a lot of these visits, they come in for visits. So my part of my job is I take care of the patient when they come in for the visit. I don't do the medical exam, but I do like literally everything else. But our tax dollars go to these operations and they can't be done alone. And believe it or not, you're a part of it and you benefit from it. So moving on, it gets better. Are you listening? Because these advancements in cancer research specifically are now being applied to the treatment and prevention of HIV. Like, what, bitch? Like, what? Yeah. Some of these studies are open. I know specifically about one in Denver, Colorado. I went to a conference in June, and there's a new vaccine study, a cure study. And a lot of people like to debate with me, like, no, vaccine is not a cure. Yes, it is. If you are virally suppressed, meaning we can't detect HIV in your blood, then we give you an investigational product take you off of your medication and the virus does not replicate because of a vaccine, bitch, that's a cure. Duh. We can eradicate HIV from the body with a vaccine, and we can eradicate HIV from the body with a other form of a medication that is also a cure. Like there are like 20 different variations of medication that can be created and then created in perpetuity as modifications to their molecular structure. So the catch, I'm getting excited. Oh, goodness gracious. But anyway, the catch is that this study in Denver, funded by the government, is only enrolling women because of the advancements of breast cancer. We're using some women's science to transfer it over to HIV. But those women, they have to be non-smokers for at least a year because the investigational product, one of the side effects is a potential blood clot. What is the main symptom? What is the main side effect of smoking? Blood clots. So it's like large subsets of people create barriers for themselves to healthcare, to life. You're creating barriers for yourself. And if you want access to advancements in medical treatment, you have to take care of your body. Like literally, you can't be drinking like a fish. You can't be doing heroin. Like literally, you can't do heroin. Do not destroy your liver. Do not take an opiate if you do not need it. Because we can't cure shit if you're just going to get a blood clot and die, or die of an overdose, or die, we need you. We need you. We need everybody to be a part of this process because advancements in science take everyone. We are not free until we're all free, y'all. Like literally, we can't cure nothing if you're dead. So we can find more information about these studies. You can anyway. I said we, but you can find more information about these studies. You can read the protocols. You can read the consent. You can read all these things. Head over to actgnetwork.com. That's the main institution that funds my job. And then also prevention, on the prevention side, the HIV Prevention Trials Network. Their website is hptn.com. Head over there if you need more information. They're the best. I've met all these people in person too, so I know that they're good people. Both of these websites, the AIDS Clinical Trials Group Network, the actgnetwork.com, and the HIV Prevention Trials Network, hptn.com, are leaders in this fight. And these people, they want you to live. They truly do. And we're fighting every day against the forces, that want people to die. And it's truly amazing. It's truly amazing. And I want to send a special shout out to all the researchers and volunteers and advocates and participants and community members. Like the operation is so big, and I wish I had more energy and I wish I went to school longer because damn, I should have been doing this. But at 30 years old, I really don't have the energy for it, and I'm a musician anyway, so we'll see. Also, I wanted to highlight transplant science in terms of HIV, because people think they can destroy their liver. That's why I was telling you stop drinking and stop doing heroin, because you think you can destroy your liver and your kidneys without any consequences. But bitch, let me tell you something. Your liver and your kidneys, they're like the first place like anything goes through. Or your liver is the first place that anything goes through. Your kidneys are your they're your waste. Get the waste out of your body. So the liver takes the waste out of your blood, and then the kidneys dispel them in the urine. Like, bitch, if you don't have those organs, you will die. What? And there's no dialysis. Dialysis is 1% of your kidney function. That's just to keep you alive long enough for the transplant surgery. Well, if you destroy your livers and your kidneys, there are huge consequences. But thank you, President Obama. He signed the HOPE Act. And I am so fortunate to be a part of that study in my state, because not a lot of people get to be a part. And HIV positive people are going to be allowed to donate and receive organs from other HIV positive patients. This is huge. And the implication is not only for HIV positive patients, but HIV negative patients will also have the ability to choose an organ from an HIV positive patient. So, the risk and the benefit, you decide. This is monumental. This is monumental because only people with the most access to organs get them. And you know how like kids like disappear and like we don't know where they are. Like they're probably being harvested for organs. Like all these kidnappings and human trafficking and stuff, like this shit is so real. And the fact that all these gay men, oh my God, have HIV. All these young, healthy men, you better start opening your eyes. You better start opening your eyes and protect yourself because, yeah, organs are in very short supply and some people will kill others. Anyway, do you want to learn more about transplant science and not be scared by my conspiracy theories? Because I will get into a conspiracy theory because it's like, why wouldn't you just save people's lives? Why wouldn't you just cure HIV sooner? Why would you create the HOPE Act like this long ago? You know, probably because people want these organs. Because let me give you some stats though. Okay, let me give you the website. So the website is optn.transplant.hrsa.gov. Go there, search for the HOPE Act, or just Google it too, the HOPE Act. But make sure it's coming from that website. The information you get comes from the government, not from whoever the fuck, I don't know. But every 10 minutes, someone is added. So this website, it says, every 10 minutes, someone is added to the transplant waiting list. On average, 20 people die each day in the U.S. while waiting for a transplant. One organ donor saves 8 lives. If you are not an organ donor, honey, why not? Because you should be. But here's the deal. You need to stay healthy and you need to stay active. And I'm going to tell you to exercise regularly. And I'm going to tell you to read. I'm going to tell you to keep your mind sharp. Not because like I think like education is the path out of poverty. No, education is the path to reading these long ass documents and understanding the science of the medications and the treatments and making informed decisions based on your well-being, not based on like my need to enroll a certain amount of people, because there's that aspect of research is the competition part, because there's millions of dollars. So I want you to be in the best position possible because we don't want to hurt you. Our mission as researchers is not to hurt you. It's to advance science. And if you don't meet us halfway, there can be fatal consequences. So to combat that, there's a medical team. So for every patient that I have, you have a nurse and a doctor assigned to you at any given time, and me and an assistant. So I take care of the social part of it. I draw your blood, I get your snack, I call you, I make sure you're doing good. I operate the clinic. And then there's a medical team that makes sure that you don't die and make sure that our protocol is being followed to the T and that you are healthy and taken care of and your questions are answered and your fears are quelled. Like, this operation is not simple. And the way that people devalue research and public health research is criminal. Like, what? But in addition to staying healthy and keeping your mind sharp, I want you to make sure that you eat a balanced diet. There's a lot of talk on Twitter about being vegan because I don't know why Beyonce, her only thoughts every 6 months, she's like, everybody should be vegan. Or not everybody, but she's like, just try veganism. I'm like, why though? Why are you telling us to be vegan? Because anybody can tell you that too much of anything or too little of anything can be detrimental. I know that firsthand. But don't forget, you deserve joy. Also, you deserve joy. We are allowed to have fun. We are allowed to enjoy food. Food is life. Like literally, you have to eat to like live. So why not enjoy it too? Taking care of yourself should also be fun. Being yourself, how you were raised and all that kind of stuff should be fun, and it should be sustainable. So you have to find out the ways to improve your health for yourself, because I'm pretty sure these celebrities out here are being controlled by whatever powers that be, because you can tell the more they expose these pedophiles, the more children disappear. Point blank. And nobody's talking about it. No celebrities are talking about these children. Trump just took thousands of children from the border. At the same time that the Catholic Church, you know what? I'm moving on because we're not doing conspiracy theories today. We're doing life. We're giving life. We are giving life. You can't live only worried about death and destruction and abuse. We have to perpetuate life. There are other institutions doing HIV cure research. My boss said that he will release a press release when the time comes. So I know at my institution, we're doing investigator-initiated studies. So in addition to government-initiated studies, corporation-initiated studies, there are also investigator-initiated studies where the doctor himself has a great idea and he wants to do something about it. So I'll have more information to share with you about our investigation-initiated studies when the time comes. But I don't even think the protocol's done yet. And if it is, it's like still needs to be edited again. And I am so lucky. I really am. I'm really lucky to have the opportunity to work on several clinical trials in Ohio. So if you want to learn more about clinical research, or like what is it and what to expect, especially if you're Black, I can give you some insight. I've been doing this for 6 years. Email me your questions. host@centersun21.com. Also, you can tweet me, centersun21 on Twitter. But let's move on to mental health, because I have been racking my brain for like the last 10 years because, Chile, I suffer from the worst kind of depression. Like the most isolating, the most fearful form of it, where you just don't feel comfortable in your own skin, no matter how physically attractive you are, no matter how smart you are, no matter how great your life is. It's just like this feeling that you just cannot shake, and it destroys your ability to like interact with other people. So in addition to taking care of your body, I always advocate for taking care of your mind. You might be wondering, why are you separating these things, Devon? Well, I'm not really. I just want you to move your awareness to it. It's not a separate part of your body, because your mind and your body are one. And this oneness is in oneness with God. And so it's all important. But sometimes as humans, we have to break things up we have to separate things in order to understand them better. So what is depression, you might ask? Well, it's the classification of a person with about 5 symptoms of depression. So there's like a list of stuff. And if you have 5 of these things, you may be depressed and you should go seek help. And I'm not going to list them off to you, but just like the main ones that I think are important are depressed mood. Point blank. Like clearly, do you know, is your mood not abnormal? Have you lost interest or pleasure in things? How do you feel feelings of guilt or worthlessness? Agitation is another one. Thoughts of suicide is actually the main one. Thoughts of suicide and death and attempts thereof. Those are main symptoms of depression. And if you have these plus more of them, you should seek help, because there are so many symptoms and there are so many causes. But we always don't know how to combat these ailments. And sometimes, when I go to my psychiatrist, his first line of defense is holistic. We listen to music. He orders me to take walks and shit. Like, I'm like, really? Like, I'm over here, like, I can't get out of bed and you want me to take a walk? Like, I don't even want to get out of bed, but you want me to take a walk. Okay, done. Get some sun, take a walk, even if it's 1 minute. Make that 1 minute into 2 minutes. Make that 2 minutes into 10 minutes. You know, like you can do something. Walk around your house. Lift up cans of corn. I don't know. Do something. But do it marginally. And so that's kind of your holistic defense for depression, because it is psychiatric and it is. So the way that I understand it as a 30-year-old is like by the time you're an adult, if you develop your brain a certain way, by the time you're an adult, it's locked in. And there's really not much that you can do to unlock your neurons from how they've grown, because your brain, we're smart as fuck. And once our brain forms, that's it. You don't gain more neurons, you only lose them. And that's why like at 5 years old is like the most impressionable time for a human, because that's when you're making brain cells. You're developing the future of your brain. And if that's fucked up then in perpetuity through your childhood, not fucked up, but if you don't have the proper emotional intelligence to identify and to correct certain emotional imbalances, it can cause depression in adulthood. And now at 30, I'm like, okay, I think my brain is just broken, and that's okay. You know, like no one's perfect, and thank God I'm not perfect, because I couldn't handle it. But what can you do to combat the issue? Because that's where I am. I'm like, okay, well, if I'm broken, not broken like as a negative thing, but if my brain is not going to correct itself or whatever it is, then I have to take the actions to make myself feel better. Because if I just wait for my body to just adjust, it's never going to happen. Agitation is another one. You know, I'm just agitated. That's another symptom. But anyway, the first line in defense is always holistic. So I would say always try the least energy consuming, what am I trying to say? Always try the least barrier, you know, always try the lowest barrier first, you know, the things with the lowest barriers. So like going outside of your house, no barriers, literally no barriers, unless you know have a disability of some sort. But my psychiatrist prescribes me medication. So in addition to the holistic part, taking care of my body, meeting him halfway, he's met me the other halfway with the antidepressant, which has been a godsend. I wouldn't do the show. I wouldn't be able to do the show. Like literally, I wouldn't be able to do anything. Like I can go to work. That's basically all I can do is go to work when I'm depressed. Because I want to have money, because I want to be alone, because I want to maintain my isolation, so I like want to be alone, and so the only way to be alone is to take care of yourself. The only way to take care of yourself is to have a job. So I do that, and thank God I'm a workaholic. But because now mixed with like actual energy, it's becoming exciting, and depression is lifting by itself just because I feel like I have a sense of purpose. So that's the holistic part. And then the medication gets me out of bed and gets me up and at it and allows me to be my normal self, because this is my normal self. I've always been like this. As a child, I had a lot of energy, like always singing and dancing and talking and da-da-da and da-da-da. But that stuff in boys, Kevin Hart, is taken out of you. They tell you not to do those things. So then you become this shell of you know what? Help me, Lord. Anyway, we're talking about life today, and my life would not be here. I would not have a life without an antidepressant. So I wanted to share with you what I take, and that is called Vibryd, and it's spelled VIIBRYD. I've suggested this medication to several patients of mine because they've opened up to me. So a part of like coming to see me in my clinic is like me being all in your business because I love you. Because I'm going to be in front of you for like at least 20, 30, 40 minutes, drawing your blood and doing your vitals and doing all that kind of shit. I'm going to ask you about your life. And if you give me depression teas, I'm going to tell you about them. I'm sorry. Because before public health research or before infectious disease, I did emergency medicine. And guess what we did in emergency medicine? We did interventions. Brief interventions in the emergency department. Not novel, but we added things where normally you would just come to the doctor, you get your arm fixed and you leave. No, how about you come to the emergency department, get your arm fixed, and then get tested for HIV, and then get screened for depression, and then just to make sure we don't miss nothing, we refer you to somebody to follow up with you. Like, that's the kind of shit that I'm talking about. That's the kind of healthcare that I want. And that's what I want to let you all know, is that there are advancements in medical treatment. And even on the social work side, there are all kinds of things. And you have to stay healthy. You have to be able to get out of bed. You have to have the full function of your organs. You have to, you have to keep your mind sharp. And so this new medication, Vibrid, has opened new doors for me. And I don't want to advocate for any pharmaceutical companies or anything, because nobody pays me to do any of this shit. They've basically given me, this pill's given me a new perspective, and I feel angry at 30 years old because I missed my fucking 20s. Like, now that I'm like awake and I can see my life and I can see how I've treated people, I am so mad that I didn't get it sooner. But you know what? Everything happens for a reason. And this pill was approved in 2010, so it didn't matter. I wouldn't have been able to afford it anyway, because that was when I started going through, started really getting in. That was my rock, around 2010 was my rock bottom. So, fast forward, made it out of the rock bottom. It's possible. And, but the medication is very expensive. I pay $100. I have really good health insurance, and my copay is still $100. But because it's a tier 4, it's like the highest tier, because it just was FDA approved in 2010. So I find it to be a cost I'm willing to incur, especially if you failed 2 other antidepressants like me. I failed like several antidepressants because I'm like, this shit is terrible. Like, imagine being 6'2", extremely handsome, and not being able to have sex. What, bitch? Yeah, that was my life. That was my 20s. And that's why I'm single, because now, like, sex doesn't, like, I miss sex, like, all the things in your 20s, I missed the energy of it because I had depression. So I want to save you. I want to share information with you because no one shared it with me. And I'm curious, like, I seek shit, and people still kept me in the dark. It's okay. That's why God gave us a brain. What are your thoughts? Do you have any questions, concerns? Well, you can ask me anytime. I am going back to work. I've been on vacation since Christmas Eve. I'm going back to work next week, so you can send me your questions. Host at centersun21.com. In the meantime, I'll be available. I'm not working, so I might as well put myself to work in some capacity, because this is my shit. This is what gets me up in the morning. Literally talking to you all, sharing this stuff with you is so exciting, and I'm really happy that you all are interested. I'm happy that you are taking down R. Kelly. I'm so mad at Beyonce. I'm so mad at these celebrities because they allowed this shit to happen. They allowed this shit to happen. The Illuminati feels real every day, more real every day. Like, how y'all gonna be whole pedophiles? Like, get the fuck out of here. I can't. Okay, have a good day. Send me your questions. Host at centersun21.com, or you can tweet me, centersun21 on Twitter. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.